want you to check the first couple and then I'll work out the rest. The first one, your point is -1, 2, so left 1 up 2, and then your slope is 2/3 up 2 and to the right 3, or down 2, left 3, should be there. For number 2, even though it's just flipped left to right, it's still in slope-intercept form, so you could pull the slope directly from the equation, which is 5, and then the y-intercept, make sure you put in coordinate point form, that's 0, -3. For 3, you got to find the slope. So I do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus a -5 makes that positive. And I get -18 over 12. 6 goes into both of those, -3/2. For 4, it gives you the point and the slope. You can choose which method you want to use. You can either use slope-intercept or you could use point-slope. Or if I do point slope, I'd get y. This would be my y1. So minus a -3 is +3 equals the m is -2. The x minus the x1 is 2. I'd distribute the -2. I'd subtract the 3. And I get y equals -2x plus 1. Questions on any of those 4? Yeah. Yep. Then it's just the number. Yeah. All right, 5 says find the equation of the line that passes through. This time it's giving you 2 points, so the first thing we have to do is find the slope. 5 minus 4 over -2 minus 3, and I get 1 over -5. And then again, you can choose if you want to use point slope or if you want to use slope intercept. Since I did point slope already, I'll do the other one. So I'm going to plug into y equals mx plus b. I can pick either point. I would say if there's an option without negatives, pick it, because some people make silly mistakes with negatives. So I get 4 equals -1/5 times x, which is 3, plus b. 4 equals -3/5. And then add the 3/5. 4 becomes 20 over 5 plus 3 over 5, or 23 over 5. And then I plug that and the m back in. So y equals m -1/5 x plus 23 over 5. Questions on that one? Sure. And then, oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, go back. All right, then 6 says find the slope of the line that is A parallel and B perpendicular to the equation from 5. So if 5 is the y equals -1/5 x plus 23/5, what's the slope of a line that's parallel to it? The same, good, -1/5. How about the opposite reciprocal would be 5, if it's perpendicular. Just the slope, yep. Yeah, no, just the slope. All right, so now that the due time has passed on your web assign, your job over the weekend is to go in and check your answers, especially the ones you hand drew. Make sure that they're right. If you've got questions on it, we could talk about it on Monday. Okay, we'll have a little bit more breathing room on Monday. What we're going to do now is get started on 1-2. So 1-2 is called functions. Like everything we're going to cover today should be review. Most of section 1-2 is review. There is something called the difference quotient all the way at the end that we'll get to on Monday. We're going to go through what is a function, how to identify it from points, how to identify it from an equation, how to evaluate it, all that good stuff. And then again, we'll end on Monday with the rest of it. So we start with what is a function, and by definition, it's a rule that assigns to each element x in set A exactly one element y. And what that means in plain English is no x, oh, because I took it off, I'm still loading it. No x can be repeated with a different y. So when you're looking at coordinate points, y can repeat, but if x repeats, it has to repeat with the same x. You cannot, with the same y. You can't have x repeat with a different y. So you'll see these a couple different ways. One, it will literally give you a set of coordinate points. You'll look at all the x's. If the x's don't repeat, you're good. It's a yes. If they do repeat, then you have to look at the y. If the y also repeats, it's still a yes. Only if the x repeats with a different y is it not a function. Holy moly. All right, so if you saw, like you'll see in the homework, there'll be ones that are set up like a table. If I have x values, so if I have 1, 2, 3, and then I have 4, 5, and I have an x here and an x there, and I have an x there, each of those would represent a coordinate point. So it would be 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 5. And if you looked at it that way, all of your x values would be different. So this would be a function. But if I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I had this, and 2 went with 2 different y's, this is when it's not a function. So if it's confusing in table form, rewrite it in coordinate point. This would be 1, 3, this would be 2, 4, and this would be 2, 5. And the problem exists here. The same x cannot repeat with a different y. If that happens, it's not a function, okay? The visual of that, if you remember your vertical line test, weirdly enough, it's not in this section of your book. It will be later, but it's not in this one. If I plot 2, 4 and 2, 5, they are one right on top of the other, and it would fail a vertical line test, okay? So if you need to visualize it, you're checking the coordinate points. You could check it with your vertical line test. And then the last way is by an equation. So if you're given an equation, it is a function unless the y is raised to an even power or is in absolute value. So if y is raised to the second, or y is raised to the fourth, or it's in absolute value, then it is not a function. If you think about why that's happening, a y squared is turned sideways. That would fail because you'd have the same x with 2 y's. And the y in absolute value is a v turned on its side, and you'd have the same x with 2 y's, so it would fail. So the first kinds of questions that you're going to get are literally yes, no. Is it a function or is it not? They look like this. So if I look at A, the first thing I'm going to do is look all my x values. Do any of them repeat? No, so this is a yes, and I don't even have to go any further. Then I go to B, look at my x values. Do any of them repeat? Yes. If the y they are with also repeats, it's still a yes, but the fact that those y's are different makes this not a function. Is C a function? Yes. Is D a function? No, why not? Y is raised to an even power. Is E a function? No, why not? Y is an absolute value. Easy stuff, right? You just got to remember the rules. All right, the next thing you've done before, I promise you, and it is strong on standardized tests, and that is function notation, like f of a number. And all that means is take whatever's inside those parentheses and plug it in for x. If there's more than one x, you're plugging it in for all the x's that are there. And they look like this. Evaluate the function at the indicated value. The f of s will be given to you. This time it's x squared minus 1. And then a is f of negative 3. So I'm going to take negative 3 and plug it into the x. It goes in parentheses. So that is a negative 3 times a negative 3. That becomes a positive 9. And this is 8. F of 2 would be 2 squared minus 1, or 4 minus 1, which is 3. And f of a plus 2, I'm going to take a plus 2, put it in the parentheses, and square it. And you do not distribute that exponent. This does not become a squared plus 4, right? I have to expand and FOIL that out. So a squared plus 2a plus 2a plus 4 minus 1. And I combine my like terms. All right, we're going to stop there. We'll finish the rest on Monday. You can do part of the assignment. If you don't and you leave it all till Monday, you're going to hate life on Monday. It's going to be a lot. So my recommendation is to get it started. Go through all the questions that are the, is it a function? And go through all the evaluate questions. And then you have just domain and difference quotient.